this is how to balance equations. So I've got one here and it's got magnesium plus oxygen gives me magnesium oxide. However, there are a different number of atoms on both sides. So at the moment, this doesn't make any sense. I need to put some big numbers in front of each element to make sure I've got the same on both sides. So the first thing that I do is I will draw a line down the middle, and then I'm just going to write down all the elements that are present on both sides. So the first on the left hand side, I've got magnesium. Now there's no little number down here, and there's no number at the front, so that just means I've got one magnesium on that side. Looking at the oxygen, I've got no big number at the front, but I've got a little 2 down here, so it just means that I've got 2 oxygens. Now on the right hand side, there's no big number, so I've only got one lot of this whole molecule here, and there's no little numbers down here, which means I've only got one. No little number there, so I've only got one magnesium, and there's no small number there, so I've only got one oxygen. But I can see straight away that the numbers don't match up, it's not balanced. So I need to start putting some big numbers in. I can't start putting little numbers down here, because that would change the compound that I've got. So I need to start putting in big numbers. So I've got 2 oxygens on the left hand side, but I've only got 1 on the right hand side, so I'm going to put a big 2 in front of the magnesium oxide, and then that now gives me 2 lots of oxygen and 2 magnesiums. But now my magnesiums are unbalanced. I've got the same number of oxygens on both sides, but I've got 2 magnesiums on the right hand side. I've only got 1 magnesium on the left hand side. So again, I can't put a little number down here. I have to put a big number up here. I need to put 2. So that means I've got 2 lots of magnesiums. And now I've got the same number of each element on both sides. This equation is now balanced. Now, something a little bit more tricky. I've got sulfuric acid plus sodium hydroxide gives me sodium sulfate plus water. Now again, I'm going to draw my line down the middle. I'm going to list all of the elements that are present on both sides. Make sure they're in the same order, just to make your life a little bit easier. And then I'm going to start counting how many I've got on both sides. So here I've got 2 hydrogens, but it's not the only hydrogen that I've got on this side, because I've got another one here. So I've got 3 hydrogens on this side. I've got 1 sulfur. I've got 5 oxygens, because I've got 4 here, because there's a little 4. And there's 1 here, so I've got 5 oxygens in total. And I've got 1 sodium. On the right hand side, I've got, starting with hydrogens, I've got 2 there. So I can already see that it's unbalanced. I've got 1 sulfur, 5 oxygens, and 2 sodiums. Now I can see straight away that my sodiums don't match up and my hydrogens don't match up. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is make sure that my sodiums are balanced, because that's the easiest one to do, and put a big 2 at the front of my sodium hydroxide. Remember, I can't put a little 2 down here, because that changes the compound and Na2OH doesn't exist. So I've now got 2 sodiums. I've now got 4 here and 2, so I've got 6 oxygens, and I've got 2 there for hydrogens and 2 hydrogens here, which gives me 4. So now my sodiums are balanced, my sulfurs are balanced, so I don't want to be messing with this sodium sulfate or sulfuric acid on this side. But I've got 2 hydrogens here and 4 hydrogens here, 5 oxygens here, 6 oxygens here. So I need to get 2 more hydrogens and 1 more oxygen on this side, and I'm going to put a 2 there, which means I've now got 2 lots of H2O. So it's a little bit like I've got 1 H2O molecule, I've got 2 water molecules, so I've now got 4 hydrogens, because I've got 2 in this water molecule and 2 in this water molecule, and I've got 2 oxygens, one in this one and one in that one. So I've got 4 hydrogens, and I've now got 4 oxygens here, 2 oxygens here, which give me 6. This one is now also balanced. Okay, it's time to have a go at one yourself. So there's iron plus chlorine gives you iron chloride. So pause the video, have a go at yourself, and then we'll come back and we'll go through it together. Okay, let's have a go at this one together. Let's see if you got it correct. So remember, line down the middle, list my atoms that I've got, my elements that there are, and start writing down how many I've got of each one. So I've only got 1 iron on the left hand side, I've got 2 chlorines on the left hand, on the right hand side still 1 iron, but I've got 3 chlorines. Slightly trickier, but I've got 2 chlorines on the left and 3 chlorines on the right. I'm going to see what does 2 and 3 both go into. Both go into 6, so I'm going to try and get 6 chlorines on the left hand side. So I need to put a big 3 in front of there, so I've got 3 lots of Cl2, which will then give me 6. And to get 6 chlorines on the right hand side, I need to put a big 2, which will give me 6 chlorines, but it gives me 2 ions, so my ions are now unbalanced, so I need to put a 2 in front of the iron to make sure that I've got 2 ions. And that's that one done. The more you practice, the easier this will be, the quicker you get at it. And to end the video, Path, my Mexican black king snake, has decided to come out and say hi to everyone. And he'll get fed tomorrow, a little mouse. He's absolutely lovely. And he's only bit me once, which is always a bonus.